My God, Chibnall. What have you done, man? What have you done?
Yeah, that'll do it. I'll do it nicely. Ooh, jelly babies.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now last night a major trailer dropped for Series 13 Stroke Flux. And welcome to the new background review area where we'll break down trailers. I'm looking forward to this. So, where do we start with this trailer? It came out pretty late last night on the Graham Norton show. I couldn't do a live reaction for you, it was far too late. And but I've got to admit, some of the artwork for Series 13 is looking absolutely pucker, absolutely perfect. And I'm looking at some of these images on here. This is going to be a cracking series. This looks like a 6-hour movie rather than, you know, individual episodes, even though, as we do know, it's going to be one story. So let's have a further little look at this, shall we? We start off the trailer with the Doctor holding on to a Sonic. There's nothing random about the Doctor sending a Sonic, except for when she sends a large sonic noise, akin to maybe a signal, an emergency signal. Is this from the Centenary special? By the looks of the images, I don't think it is. I'm starting to think that this is maybe the Crimean episode, because of the grass field, maybe. Maybe she's trying to get the Sontarans' attention in this, as we know they're actually in this trailer. Well, some of the images are superb, from what I seen on the trailer last night. And but what signal is the Doctor sending? You know, she can't send a box to Gallifrey. Is she sending possibly an emergency to some other species? Could it be the Slitheen, or we don't know. But it's really, really interesting. Or maybe it could be there is a force working with the Doctor that we don't know about, akin to maybe the 11th Doctor when he sent off that signal in the 11th hour, trying to get the attention of the people trying to arrest the prisoner in Amy's episode. That's really interesting. Now the next one's quite interesting. What's happening again? The lady says it in one of these images here. We're seeing several different characters from different periods in time. I can see us travelling to maybe 3 or 4 different parts in time within this 6-hour mega movie, as I was starting to call it now for Doctor Who Flux. But where do they go? You know, it looks like there's a lady from the Crimean. There's also a lady, I think the lady who says, "Is it happening again?" is from the Angels episode. I think this is going to be episode 2 or 3. Could even be the first one. Because don't forget, we saw Halloween pumpkins with angels on the filming set. So there is that. Now this is the interesting one. There's an image here that came up in the trailer, and it sort of hit me for 6. Are those Sontaran ships in the dockyards at Liverpool? Is the Sontaran episode Dan's first episode? We have seen it akin to filming episode, you know, scenes down in Liverpool where he's fighting with his parents of Sontarans with a frying pan. So the only reason I say, are these Sontaran docks on Earth, is because of the simple fact that the blue rig that's in front of the Sontaran ship at the front is quite clearly earthbound, even though, you know, you can see the gatherings of a city all around. But I don't think this is the Doctor's Earth. I'm starting to think this is a multiversal thing now. Remember where we had, you know, the Rose episode with 10, where they go to another multiverse. I'm starting to think that way now. You know, then we're introduced to Yaz, Dan, the Doctor's soaking wet, and the one that's really interesting is we see what seems to be, what we talk more about later, is a disintegrating face of what seems to be a new monster. Is that the Ravager? Is that how the Flux works? Is that how they're disintegrated? These are questions we have to ask ourselves, and it's something we're really looking forward to. But what I'm seeing from the filming pictures and the trailer last night, which was superb, this looks fantastic. This absolutely is absolutely bang on. Now, another couple of images that have come out from the trailer, which is quite interesting, are these two characters here. Now, you can probably guess, if you've watched Classic who I think these are. For some reason, I can't shake the feeling that if this isn't going to be a multiversal thing, why aren't we going? We've already met Captain Jack. We've already met several characters in this universe. But are we going to meet a young Tegan and a young Brigadier in these episodes? After last night, I genuinely thought that this is it. This is actually going to happen. He's actually going to pull this off. You know, he's going to do a young Tegan and a young Brig. But thinking about it now, I could see the young Tegan one coming through. I could see that happening because she looks very similar. But the Brigadier, I don't think so, because if you look at the image and the mansion in the background, I'm starting to think that this is from the the Angel episode. This is mad how beautiful this trailer actually looks and the detail they've gone into. I actually went into meltdown when I actually saw these pictures last night, because it's getting really interesting to see where Chibnall's going to go. Because I didn't know he could actually do something this epic. And I think he's actually, you know, met the thing now where if he's going to go, he's going to go out with a bang. I had several of my friends message me last night who don't watch Doctor Who, watched the trailer and just genuinely said that this has a major movie feel. And that is how it should be. That's the way Doctor Who should be. And look at the images, they're absolutely fantastic. After watching several of the reactions to the videos yesterday, people kept saying there's a Wookiee in Doctor Who. There isn't a Wookiee in Doctor Who. We don't know who this character is. He's quite clearly a dog race of alien that we're going to meet. And I'm not sure which episode we're going to meet him in. But is he, the question, is he the same person as Garm from Terminus, back with the 5th Doctor and Nyssa and Tegan and Turlough? You know, the more questions we ask, you know, we could be leading to somewhere. Are we heading back to Terminus, maybe? Or something in relation to Terminus? Well, that's going to be key. I really like the look of him. I think he looks really cool. Especially with that alien machine axe thing. That looks really cool. And you can tell over the years that CGI has most certainly improved when you look at Garm and you look at him. Now, the next question I have with these set of images coming out the trailer is, the unit are back, the Sontaras look badass, and there's Ood, the unit back. That was a nice surprise in the trailer. But, you know, I read a little article in the Doctor Who magazine on the actual design parameters they had for the Sontarans. And they wanted them down, dirty, frontline nasty is what they wanted. I think they've absolutely knocked it out the park. He looks absolutely brilliant. It's quite clearly the Crimean episode. Unless, you know, the Crimean episode is going to carry over 2 parts. But we don't know how it's all going to fit together. And the interesting thing is, we've got this general saying, how odd. Unit are most certainly back. We've seen it from the filming pictures. So is this from the specials or is this from Flux? We don't know, but it says Flux. So it says, that it's 6 episodes. So we're going to get Unit in the 6-parter, and they're not part of the specials, I don't think, which is interesting. But we've got this Ood. He's not a free Ood. He's an enslaved Ood, which is cruel. But where does he come into it? The Ood has been used a lot recently in Big Finish, especially with the 10th Doctor. The other question we have to ask ourselves, are we meeting an older era unit? That's going to be really, really interesting, because we don't know who this guy is. From looking at the rank on him, he maybe looks like a general. I don't think he's a brigadier. But like I said, I did have feelings in this trailer that maybe we could be getting a young brigadier, a young Tegan. But I don't think they'll be our young Brig and young Tegan. I think this is going to be a multiversal thing. I think the Doctor's going to find out that she's not actually in her universe, because something's gone awry. Now, the one thing I loved about Fugitive of the Judoon is introducing this thing called Ancient Gallifrey. What? That blew my mind. The Doctor going meeting Time Lords from a timeline that's not hers. She's not there quite yet, or she didn't think she was. This image here of the team running down a corridor, there's a lot of people in other breakdowns that I've seen thinking that this is some sort of Gallifreyan, marking on the floor, hence why I've paused it at this point. But as you can quite clearly see, I don't think it is. I think that's the Ravagers ship, or whatever the aliens are, those blade things in the trailer that we see back in SDCC, and we see a couple of them in this episode. I think that this ship is not Ancient Gallifrey anymore. I think it's got something to do with the adventure that they're currently on. Okay, the next image is this the Flux? You can see quite a terrifying cloud gathering around this planet, and it's not covering it in quite a nice light. Is that the Flux? Is this the weapon? You saw a similar graphic earlier with that disintegrating alien that could be a Ravager. I think this is the Flux. I think they're trying to show us how terrifying the Flux could be, and I think it's going to be a little bit uncontrollable, because there's a reason the Doctor is panicking. But like I said, when does she find out that it's not her universe? Because I'm not too sure how it works out, because the Sun Tyrants in Liverpool. Is this a time meddler thing? Has time been meddled with? Not that we're going to see the time meddler. That would be quite cool to see the old mug back, but the Flux looks like a universe-ending weapon. Akin to, maybe the Cloud from Green Lantern, but I'm not going to, mention that film much. But it's the only other time I've genuinely seen like a cloud as a weapon, a universe-ending weapon. But that is quite terrifying to look at that image that way. Maybe they've divulged it down to destroy people akin to the weapon that the Daleks used in Series 4 when the disintegration bomb. Is it akin to that? Is that what we're looking at? Wow. I never thought of it that way when I was looking through these images. It's nice to go, run through ideas with yourselves. Let's continue. Okay, this one's a good one. Is Vinda working for the Judoon or the Division? Now, there's more than one question that could be asked here. There's 2 or 3. Is he a previous version of the Doctor? That I've seen several people on Twitter claim they think they know that he is a previous version of the Doctor that used to work for the Division. Personally, myself, I don't think he is. I think he's the investigator looking for Gat. I think that's how they're going to meet. I think the Time Lords and the Sun Tyrants have sent Vindar out to look for the murderer of Gat, who is obviously Jo Martin's fugitive Doctor. But she didn't do it. She obviously killed herself with her own rifle. But I think that's what it is. I think that's how Vindar's going to come into it. I think he's working for the Division, and we're going to get a lot more answers on the Timeless Child and Ancient Gallifrey in the build-up towards this the centenary special building up towards Jodie's regeneration, we're most certainly going to learn a lot more, because their uniforms look similar, as you can see from the images here below. Gat wasn't in the trailer. I put this image in here just to try and get some clarification of where my thought process currently is when it comes to the Series 13/Flux trailer. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I really want to know where Vindar stands on this. This is going to be good. Okay, now we've got our proper first images from the magazine and the trailer of possibly the Ravagers, maybe. They're very striking, aren't they? Are these the big bads? Are they called the Flux? Are they called the Ravagers? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. The information's a little bit low on the side on this one, I think. We have seen them being filmed in Liverpool, the new Aliens. We have seen that. But if they were filming in Liverpool, could they be in the first episode? That's going to be interesting. So yeah, these two really look quite interesting. I'll tell you what, they've really gone for the 80s pads with him, haven't they? They're right here. But I think they look fantastic. Okay guys, this one's going to be the next interesting one. Does Vindar cause the Flux? Is the Division working with the Ravagers? I genuinely don't know. But as we know, Vindar's going to be a reoccurring character in this season, obviously, because it's 6 parts of one story. But I've put several images from the trailer in here, and from what I can see, he's trying to understand what the Flux is. But are they the same species that are under those white sheets? That's going to be interesting. And I think the design on these Ravagers, especially the woman who's touching that machine that goes like the Flux technology, maybe it's a disintegration weapon, that looks stunning. But if you look at her in the trailer, when she touches that, it's similar to the disintegration you see on the character earlier on in the trailer. Is that her? Is that her disintegrating in that image at the beginning of the trailer? That's going to be interesting, because if they don't know what the Flux is, who are those under the white sheets talking to Vindar? These are all questions I hope we get answered, because I'm really getting quite excited now. But it's got to be asked, is Vindar working for the Judoon or the Division? He's a really complex character, and it's going to be interesting to see. Now we're starting to get to the crux of the episode. I can't put all the images from the trailer into one video because there was so much. One shot, quick flashes. Angels look amazing. They really do. I think that person who I thought was the young Brigadier is going to be in this Angels episode. Now thinking about it, because that door looks very akin to the door at the front of that building. But look at the Angels, they look absolutely stunning. I can't believe I genuinely, it's set me back quite a bit how beautiful this trailer really is. And then you see the big shot of the Crimean War of the Sontarans in battle. That's going to be crazy, that is. And the thing that I quite like about this trailer is how more settled down Yaz is. You know, she's really settled down into this. It's like she's aged up a little bit. I hope she doesn't take that personally, Mandip, sorry. But it does seem like she's been travelling with the Doctor for a long while now. And they're starting to get this akin a partnership closer to maybe what Martha had with the Doctor. That's the genuinely feeling I'm getting. But in the bottom left hand corner here of this video, there's a general from the Crimean who ends up at the Sontaran docks where it explodes at the end of the trailer. But I'll talk about that in a moment. But the first thing I really want to talk about is the Angels. How are they going to deal with the Angels? Because there's so many of them. They look absolutely stunning, fair play. But I don't know how the Doctor's going to deal with this. Okay, this is the complicated one. The Cybermen are back. I'm a bit tired of the Cybermen. I am. I'm tired of them. I've had enough of them. They could have done a whole series without the Cybermen, without the Daleks. They could have brought in the Angels. They brought in the Sontarans. They were good enough. You didn't need to bring in the Cybermen. But if it's a key part of the series, go for it. If they're throwaway, there was no point in putting them in this series. Because I'm not too keen on these Cybermen. They look fantastic, but after Series 12, I'm just not too keen on these Cybermen. I'm glad it's not the Cyber Masters, with the big things going on. But what the thing that interests me about this image is, are they on Gallifrey? I don't think they're on Gallifrey. I don't think they're like a remnant of what is left on Gallifrey. I think they're on that ship that the Doctor's on, that Yaz and Dan are running from earlier on that we looked at. I think that's the ship that they're on. I think that's going to be episode 2, maybe 3. But this is going to be an absolutely crazy adventure because there's so many monsters and people and historical events. To cram it into 6 episodes, it looks like this is really starting to build up to be something quite monumental. And I hope it actually builds up momentum closer towards the centenary special. And maybe we should get some more tidbits closer towards the 31st. This one set me back a bit. I actually sat and watched this image for a good 5 minutes. That colour is the same barrier or vortex that the Doctor had to travel in to get to Gallifrey. Because it's in this little bubble world, isn't it? Somehow she's falling through it. Is that what causes her regeneration? That would be cruel way to go. We've seen the Doctor fall before with Tom Baker. I don't know, but the amount of worry that is on her face in this image and during the trailer, I think this is it. That's her reason for the regeneration, and I think this could be going on towards the finale episode. So it looks like poor old 13 is falling to her doom in the trailer. And it looks like, it's going to be towards the final episode, I would say. That would be my guess for this image. But again, the imagery in this trailer is absolutely stunning. Okay, now that we're heading towards the wrap-up of this Series 13 Flux trailer, the Sontaran shipyard just blows up. But as you can see in the image here, the Crimean captain is there. And what looks like maybe the lady from earlier on in the Crimean episode is also there with the Doctor when it blows up. Do we get the Sontarans for one episode? I think that's what they're trying to aim at here. I think the first episode's going to be the Sontaran episode, then the second and third could maybe that, them falling into the Ravagers / Weeping Angels episode, moving on to everything else towards the end, because we've got so little detail of who's directing the episodes, what the episode titles are. We don't know them. Like I said, I think it's going to come out in parts. I don't think we're going to get episode titles. I think it's going to be Doctor Who Flux Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And that is going to be key, because as we know, Chibnall is an anti-spoiler kind of guy, and it's one of the reasons why I think he's been let go. But when it comes to this trailer, it's really, really interesting to see that he's put so many big things in it, because that Sontaran shipyard looks absolutely stunning. But what causes it to blow up? That's going to be interesting. But what it looks like is the lady from earlier on who was asking who Yaz, the Doctor and Dan were, with the Crimean officer and the Doctor watching the shipyard blow up. Okay guys, that was my review, or little breakdown of the Series 13 Flux trailer. Wow. I didn't see that coming last night. I'd have done a live reaction, but it was far too late. But I've got to say, the excitement level's up there now. Now that we've got some actual proper footage to work with. I hope you enjoyed the little change, the little difference today. I thought I'd try and do like a proper professional rundown. But the thing is, with me being ill and everything, I couldn't do the full-on 40-minute breakdown that I was planning to do because I can't seem to go 2 minutes without coughing. If you like what I do at the channel, hit the like button. If you'd like to continue to support the channel, hit the subscribe button. And have yourselves a wonderful day.